So the spoilers for the newest chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen came out today, and holy, this chapter was honestly amazing. It started off kind of slow, started off of course with the kind of final battle or the final stage play of Kenjaku versus Takaba, but then it picks up at the end. It picks up immensely, and this chapter was honestly amazing. We finally get to see our channel's poster boy, the dude that I love the most, Yuta, finally makes an introduction back into the chapter, and I want to break everything down. I want to talk about these spoilers for you guys, and I'm just so excited. You know, as you all know, if you've been following the channel for a while, I'm a big Yuta stan. I stan the dude. I don't care. I will stan him till the end of time. Like, he's my favorite. So obviously I'm very happy that he finally makes a kind of return in the manga, and he does it in spectacular fashion. So without further ado, let's get right into the review. Like I said just a second ago, the chapter does start off with where we left off, and it's of course with the stage play kind of beginning, and we get a really cool beginning page with Takaba and Kenjaku kind of at the front, and I do like the page. I really like it, and this is where we start off the chapter, and they're instantly starting the stage play. They're just talking to each other. They seem to be of course joking around, and I think there's kind of like some Japanese type of like jokes in there that like we just kind of don't really understand, you know, due to our translations, because I see it say something about like a pinch man or something, and I'm assuming that this is kind of like something, you know, people in Japan would understand more than us, obviously, since it's more of a Japanese type of joke, I guess you could say. But you know, they're just starting off the stage play. They're just joking around, doing all of that, and the chapter is kind of slow at the beginning, you know, but it's still cool. It's still a kind of like a die down from all the action. I do appreciate that from JJK, like giving us a sort of, you know, not as action packed kind of sequence of events in the manga where we're kind of getting splits and pieces of comedy and stuff, and I do like that. I do like that because we haven't really seen a lot of comedy in the manga since really the beginnings. They of course keep joking around. They're talking about Momotaro, they're talking about different things. Then of course Kenjaku being himself, you know, he just can't help but be kind of dark and edgy, and he instantly turns the script and he starts saying some really weird dark stuff. So I'm gonna include the panels here, but you know, obviously he's just weird. Kenjaku's a weird dude, and he kind of shows that off in this chapter. But again, we're just getting that whole comedy bit with the both of them talking to each other. Again and again, we get some more jokes. They start making grandma jokes, so obviously I'm gonna include them here too for you guys to read, and it's just kind of funny. It's funny seeing the both of them, somebody as serious as Kenjaku joking around like that, but it literally turns into an actual yap session. Like the translations literally say like, yeah, they're just yapping right now, so I can only imagine they're just saying a bunch of random stuff, and you can obviously see that from the paneling where it's like kind of all over the place, different emotions, different things going on. So there are no translations for it just because there really is no reason. It's just random stuff they're talking about. So I'm gonna include that panel also, but it's just randomness. Don't worry about like whatever it's saying. Don't really think too much into it. There's nothing really important going on in there, and that's why there are no translations for this portion of the manga. This is obviously when the chapter starts to get very interesting. We get to see them kind of both, you know, pause up, and everything changes. The atmosphere gets completely different, and then Kenjaku's like, yo, what's wrong? Like, you know, what's going on right now? And Takaba's saying like, it's almost over, isn't it? Things are going to be ending very, very soon. This is seemingly the beginnings of a masterclass that Takaba is going to pull off, but we're going to get into that at the end of the chapter. But obviously he's saying, you know, he just doesn't want this dream stage to end, or he doesn't want it to end. You know, he says this was his dream. This was like the comedy that he's wanted, and obviously this is exactly what Kenjaku was going for. He wanted to end off the play finally and get it to where like he's able to actually win and defeat Takaba, and he wanted to do that by kind of catering to what Takaba wanted, which was something very comedy filled, something that was very good, something that would kind of satiate his hunger for comedy and laughing. And you know, him saying the fact that this is his favorite stage player, this is the best, he doesn't want it to end. Obviously Kenjaku's like, all right, you know, finally, you know, I did what I said I was going to, you know, I'm finally going to be able to defeat Takaba, and you know, I did it, you know, in the way that I knew best possible. I did the stage play, I catered to what he wanted, and now I'm going to finally, you know, get to be able to win this fight. Takaba then actually begins to start crying, and he's saying, you know, I don't want this to end. I really don't. I want this to keep going on. And Kenjaku starts to console him. And what I kind of what I feel like we're gonna see near the end of the chapter too is that I feel like Kenjaku is genuinely kind of like happy, you know, for Takaba, or like kind of like really trying to make him feel better, since in this whole altercation or this whole fight, it really does seem like Kenjaku was actually invested. It's like, yes, he did want to win. Obviously he needed to, and that's why he came up with the plan plan of doing the stage play and finally ending things off, but I feel like he genuinely had fun throughout all of this. He genuinely had fun talking with Takaba, doing all those funny comedy bits, you know, just laughing. I feel like Kenjaku, and especially with his character, how he says he's always trying to find something interesting. That's the whole reason why he's even doing all of what he's doing right now. He just wants something interesting, something more for life, and I feel like he genuinely had a lot of fun, you know, talking with Takaba, and I feel like that is actually why it's going to pose his downfall near the end of the chapter, and we're going to get right into that very soon. We actually then cut back to reality, and we see that Takaba's kind of on the floor in some white robes. He's laying down, and it seems like, you know, he seemingly is just saying like, all right, man, do what you got to do, just end it off. You know, I had my fun, I had my fill, so just do what you need to do, Kenjaku. And this is what I mean when I say that Kenjaku was very seriously like just happy and really did have fun throughout it all, since he gives a very big wide grin. He tells, you know, Takaba like, yes, I like had a lot of fun, you know, I had some really good laughs, it was super funny and all of that. And this is a genuine smile from the dude. Like, this dude actually had a lot of fun. So Takaba was able to really give this dude a good time, and he made him really enjoy himself. It was still like kind of life or death for, you know, Kenjaku. He still could have been defeated if he didn't take things seriously, but it's just the fact that he genuinely did have a lot of fun throughout it all. So it kind of shows that, you know, even though he's been doing all this malicious stuff for so many years now, he still has a sort of human heart, I guess you could say. He's still a person, and he still has, you know, feelings and emotions, even if it's just kind of comedy right now. He still shows off that he is a person. He does have, like, you know, feelings, and, you know, his feeling of, you know, being able to laugh and really let loose, he probably hasn't been able to do that for many centuries now, since he's been kind of in the background doing all his other stuff. So having a genuine laugh for as much of the time as he did with Takaba, he probably feels very good about that. All of that aside, we like that. We like to see people having good laughs, but this is where the chapter gets to the best part, and this is where Yuta finally makes his appearance. It's been so long since you've seen Yuta really do anything in the manga, and he does the unthinkable here. He literally cuts off Kenjaku's head. He jumps in, cuts his head off before Kenjaku can even use any curse techniques, any anti-gravity. He completely shuts that off, nullifies it, completely takes off his head, and it was so fast. He did it so quickly. It was like out of nowhere. The dude just like jumped out and did what he had to, and I just love Yuta for this. As his head is literally falling to the floor, he starts to think to himself, how did I not feel the cursed energy of Yuta coming? Yuta's like literally a beacon. Like, you can't miss the dude. He just has so much cursed energy. It's so easy to kind of spot him anywhere that he is, and he realizes that, man, it was Takaba's doing. So the whole time Takaba really was in on the whole thing. So he didn't realize that. He didn't kind of fathom that Takaba, somebody like him, since Takaba's kind of slow, you know, he has that really good curse technique, but he isn't really the smartest, or at least, you know, that's kind of where Kenjaku was coming from. But I guess in a certain capacity, he was very wrong about that, and Takaba was able to kind of pull a fast one on him. The final pages of the chapter do end off with Yuta talking to Kenjaku, and Kenjaku's like, was this your plan all along? And Yuta's like, yes, this is my plan. You know, obviously Takaba doesn't kill people, so this was my plan to, you know, kind of use him to bait you out and then let me do the finishing blows. So it was a very good plan. It worked out perfectly, and I wonder if he really did cater to the fact that he thought that Kenjaku would have a good laugh and would let his guard down, or if that was kind of like a byproduct of a plan of just getting him in place for him to do that. So I'm wondering if, you know, Yuta thought like, maybe I'm actually going to have to fight the dude, or if Yuta knew like, I'm not really going to have to, I can just ambush him and get it done there. But either way, it seems like he genuinely did get the job done, because Kenjaku says, you know, I was so close, I was always there, but my will be inherited, and that is where the chapter ends off this week. So we don't know what exactly that means. We don't know if he's going to somehow body swap again. I don't know how he's going to do that right now, if Yuta's literally there, and if his brain comes out of his head, where is it going to go? Like, Yuta's just going to stomp it out. But you know, we just don't know exactly what that means, and there is no break next week though, so we're gonna find out something next week, whether or not it's, you know, him doing whatever he's going to do, or maybe we'll finally jump back to the fight with Yuta or Yuji and everybody else. So I'm just not sure, but this is a very good chapter. I love the fact that Yuta came in, and I kind of wish we could have seen him, you know, do a big kind of all-out fight. You know, maybe we'll finally see him do one before the end of the series. I'm really hoping. I'm hoping he gets to do something more than, you know, just cut off, you know, Kenjaku's head, which was still cool, but it's just, I'm such a fan of the dude. I want to see him fight again. So let me know what you guys thought of these spoilers down in the comment section down below. Also, like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you enjoy anything you see here today, as I make a bunch of different videos very similar to this one. With that being said though, I'm out. Peace.